Now that we have this done, we are hiding and disabling collision, but we also want to spawn a new GPN. So gameplay queue, execute gameplay queue on actor first. This, we want the actor again to be self. We're going to use both a sound and a particle within these GCN. So that'll pretty much mean that we need to fix up our GCN folder structure because we have two different GCN folders. So let's also combine that into a singular folder. Within the gameplay queue, it's not a loot chest, so we can add a new one. Oh, sorry. Let's press downwards arrow, add a new subtag, and call it pickup. Also, select the default gameplay tagging. We have in the pickup half open, full open, but we don't have any of those states for the pickups. We can just choose pickup for now. That should be enough. We won't have another GCN. And for the parameters, break, make. And in here, see the instigator is us. Target attach component. We could add a scene component, and we can say this is the gameplay queue pick up VFX and SFX. Put that into the attach component, and let's also get the location, world location into location. Then the viewport, let's select the beam component. Just got a bit confused. I thought this was a scene component as well because they have the same image, but that was the VFX. Okay, so the scene component is in the middle. Good. We don't need to change its location anymore. We can go ahead and close it. Hello. So we've pretty much almost completed this. I'll go into my gameplay queues and organize everything into a single folder. So within content, I'll make a new folder, call it GCN, and this is where my GCNs should be at least. So we can go into content, GCN, and let's create a new folder for the chest and a new folder for the pickup. Going to GCN, oh no, sorry, the effects, GCN, burst chest full open, and put that into the new GCN folder. Let's expand that into the chest folder because this is the chest GCN. Let's move here. back to content, the SFX, GCN, burst chest half open, so the chest folder up here. Okay, let's lift up any redirectories, so in the effects, or let's I'll try to delete the folder and see if that even works for that. Need to redirect. Nice. Nice. Okay, I'll save everything. Now that we have the GCN folder, let's go into pickups, create a new blueprint class, and let's search for gameplay queue. And this time I believe we need not the one we picked before, but the actor instead. Let's select and let's call it GCN pick up interaction, and within here we can go into the event graph. So now we have access to some events, and we can also go event, search gameplay queue. Have one event, so let's pick the event handle gameplay queue and see if that even triggers. So we'll print a string, and the target would be the world context object. I will say GCN is working, duration to 5, and make it more visible, so green. The class defaults, it's similar to the other setup. We can also scroll down and choose the gameplay queue tag and choose the pickup. But there won't, I believe, be like any place you can assign where the VFX should like spawn or the sound should spawn. So it's pretty much on your own to create them. Delete everything else. So, let's see if they trigger. GCN is working. Cool. Into the GCN. And break the parameter. The most important one would be the load. So let's spawn sound at location. World context object, the target would be the instigator as well. And the sound, I'm going to make a macro here as well. So if you remember, in the last video I showcased some piano notes. I'm gonna finally go ahead and put them within the SFX folder. So new folder, pick up drop, pick up action. So now I'll go into the Explorer, go into the folder where I have these notes, so into SFX. Here I have my piano notes. I'll also rename them for consistency. XT now I can drag and drop them to here. And this is pretty much what they sounded like. Right, so that's what I'll be using. So I promote the sound to a variable. Function. Let's connect it here as well. And for the sound, what I'm going to do, let's also just double check if I can use meta sounds. I'm going to copy paste what I created earlier on the just interaction. So MS interaction successful meta sound. Back to the pickup interaction, place it here, and I'll just rename it to pickup interaction 1. And I'll select the first note. Selecting the interaction successful, we can also rename this one to universal name. Save. And here I can change it to my pickup interaction note. Let's not make it too random. Try this out. Pretty bad. 5, 2, or maybe higher. Let's try higher. 14, 14. I'm not gonna mess around with this too much. Feel free to do that on your own, but I'm gonna leave mine as 14. I'll save, close out of this, and now do the same for each and every sound wave. So I'll do one more without speeding up, but then afterwards I'll speed the process up because it's the same method. So copy paste the meta sounds we created, leave the values as is, but change the note to the second note. Lower this one to 12. This one as well to 12. Alright, now I'll try to speed it up and see each other again once I've finished my setup. Alright, so now that I have my setup completed, I'll head back into the function we created. Let's rename it to choose sound to play. Connect the sound to the sound asset, or let's just pick up in pickup, so we can choose the wave assets or the meta sound assets as well, which is good. So we'll connect the sound back again, choose the open up the function, And then in the local variables, we'll create a integer, and we'll call it select sound to play. Let's make this sound a new sound base. So of type sound base, object reference, and this into an array. So the sound to pick, and then current sound, and then in the sound to pick we can put in 5 within the list, and let's just drag and drop. Oh, sorry. We can also delete them. A quick array is just to select all your meta sounds and dragging it into the list. So let's get the sound to pick, get copy, be able to get the copy of the integer, then get the actual sound. We'll set it. And then once we have set it, we'll connect it to the sound, and then we'll return it. And back in the event graph. So coming back to the recording, after looking back at the footage for what I did on the GA interact and the GCN pickup interaction, it was a fairly long process, so I'm going to simplify it by a bit. What we're going to get here, I'll explain the setup as well in the pickup soon, but for now, on the event handle gameplay queue, my target connected to the spawn sound at location for the world context object, and for the sound connected to the sound for the spawn sound location, and then we need to drag off the location into the location. And as well, if you want to modify the multiplier, pitch, start time, or attenuation, it's up to you. I have mine also at auto destroy. And now, once that is done, make sure you have a public variable called current sound, and what you need is to set it here, because we're going to choose which sound to play from the array, so from sound 1 to sound 5, and the 1 starts at 0 and the 5th sound starts at 4. So just set the array and put the raw magnitude into the current sound, and I'll show you what that essentially looks like later on. So within the choose sound to play, we have a branch checking if it's more than 5. If it's more than 5, we will not set a new sound, and if it's 5 or less, we'll set the sound to the current sound integer. And now if we go into GA interact, you can pretty much go ahead and use this layout that I currently have. So within the while pressed, we have 2 events, one for the interaction and the other one for the event timer by event, the interaction pickup. I have the loop for once each second, and then I promote the timer handler, and I clear the pickup timer handler on the wait input release. And I also have a sound to pick variable within my GA called sound to pick integer, so you can go ahead and create one as well, just pressing the plus besides the variables. choose the integer and rename it to whatever you want. Just keep the default value to 0. And for the sound to pick, we also need to set it on the read input release back to 0. And now for the pickup overlaps, for the event when it triggers, we have the pickup sphere overlap, and in here we have the sphere overlap actors and a branch to check if it is true that we are overlapping with the pickup collision. Then of course we have the out actors, character get actor location, find nearest actor, add that to the unique list of actors to ignore, and then we return from the find nearest actor to the hit actor. And then from the sphere overlap, we also set the hit pickup actor. We have it here as well. You can just right click the hit actor from the sphere overlap and just promote it to a variable. We also check if it is valid. If it's not, then we won't send any gameplay events. And the send gameplay event to pick up actors, I'll get over that pretty soon. So once I show this process, I will skip over a lot from the previous recording and head straight into the gameplay event to pick up actor. But for now, what we'll focus on is the spawn pickup interaction VFX. So we have a branch checking if sound to pick equal to 4. If it's true, we'll execute the gameplay queue on actor of type pickup interaction. Now I believe the video you saw that I had gameplay queue pickup, but just make sure that yes, it is pickup, but add a new subtag called interaction. And for the death and spawn, you can ignore them for now, or you could add them right now as well, but I'll go over that soon as well and what we'll be using it for. So after the gameplay burst, we get the sound to pick and we just put it into the raw magnitude. That will set the current sound for the GCN pickup interaction. And that is why we drag from the raw magnitude and set the current sound within the GCN pickup interaction current sound variable. And that will update the sound for us to play. And in here, with the target, I've set it as character instead of the pickup, because we will eventually destroy the pickup, so it's not really great that we reference the pickup, because we want to store the current sound to pick integer and keep that alive to keep modifying the sound every time we execute the gameplay queue. So by having the character, we can keep the count alive and running and save it within the character reference instead. Or, sorry, not the character reference, but the gameplay queue that will be executed on the character. Now within the condition, it is 5. We also set the sound to pick back to 0. So if we keep on picking up stuff that is more than 5 pickups, the sound will reset to the first sound to pick, because we don't have any notes more than 5 pickups. So for this setup, I only have 5 notes to work with, and I'll reset it every time it reaches the max note count. And for the sound to pick, if it's not equal to 4, we do the same setup, but instead we have the sound to pick, and we add a 1 value to the int, and then we set the int value. So essentially every time you interact with a pickup, it will play the sound, and then it will add 1 to the int, so that we start playing the next note on the next pickup. And of course, within the GCN, if we go to the choose sound to pick, we still have the sound to pick array as a local variable, so that's still the same setup. And the class defaults, we have gameplay queue, gameplay queue tag, pickup. Oh, I guess I had the wrong gameplay queue here. That's actually good, so we'll change it to interaction. Now compile and save. So that's the same gameplay queue. Okay. Now if we go ahead and play, we'll get these sound effects up and running. And now that I've reached the maximum 5 notes, the next pickup will essentially start from the first note again. Like so. Okay, so instead of actually doing the gameplay queue on the actor, or like inside the actor blueprint, well, the issue with this is that if we do the gameplay queue inside the pickup actor, what will happen is that now if you've read the title, is it'll execute the gameplay queue on the actor itself. So if we have multiple actors, it will, this actor, if we interact with it, it will play a gameplay queue for that actor, and the next actor will play its gameplay queue for its own actor, and so on and so forth. So we never actually go past the one integer value. What we could do, we could copy it. Let's copy this one, and let's go into the interaction, the GA interaction. We can also send a gameplay queue in here. So we could say execute gameplay queue on actor. And this will be the character instead of the pickup. So now that the interaction and the sound is cleared up, I will be going over a bit on the pickup actor itself, on the setup, when we interact with it. So when we wait for the interaction pickup pressed, so what we'll essentially do is to hide components and disable collision, and then we will set a lifetime of 0.2. Now in the recording, I had some issues with it. If I disconnect it, or if I actually just connect the hide component and disable collision and disconnect the set lifetime, what will happen if we interact with a single pickup is that it will keep interacting with it, and it will keep looping for some reason. So to fix that, within the hide components and disable collision, just make sure that the parent, so if we go into the viewport, we have the parent as a scene. We had before the pickup collision as the parent for everything, but you can essentially just add a new scene component and make that as the parent. So make new root, like so, and that will attach the pickup to the new scene root, and then within the pickup we have the static mesh. we collapse the collision as static mesh, under it we will have two new scene components. I believe we've already worked with the VFX pickup indicator, and we'll get to the gameplay queue pickup scene component later on, so this is not super important to look into right now. That will be used for the death VFX, and I'll go over how we set that up. It's basically the death is just the ring VFX that are shown when you pick something up. So now it's not shown because now it's only the sound effects. So if I connect the execute gameplay queue on actor with the component and disable collision, if I hold E, it should spawn those death rings. So that will come later. You can ignore this for now. I'll show the setup for that a bit later. But to fix the small little bug where it keeps interacting, you could just set a lifetime of 0.2, because if you go into the GA interact, we have the sphere overlaps loop set to 1 second per loop, and the set lifetime is for 0.2 seconds. So that works out, so it destroys itself before we can even interact with it again. Just having that enabled will fix up the issue pretty neatly. You could also, just within the pickups, if we double check the collision settings, make sure that for the pickup collision it's similar to this layout, so generate overlap events true, and then the collision presets as a pickup. And for the static mesh pickup, we do not generate overlapping events, but we can have the collision to collision enabled, querying physics, world dynamic, and the presets similar to this. And within the height component disable collision, we will set hidden in game for the pickup collision. We will disable the pickup collision to no collision. We will also disable the static mesh pickup to no collision, and we disable the VFX indicator, so this red looking VFX. And we also set the VFX and the static mesh to not be visible as well before we actually destroy the pickup. So we're going to make a new GCN, and now not for the sound effects, but for the visual effects. So this is still useful if we place it here. So we could say execute here, and let us add the gameplay event to actor, only trigger once. We could eventually remove the gameplay, because I'm a bit worried, like if the game begins, say if you spawn it from a chest, you could potentially run into the issue where the character can interact with the loot in air. This is one of the cases where a dispatcher could be useful. So dispatcher, initiate loot, initiate pickup. And let's make an event, initiate pickup event, and we will hook it up into here. What we'll do, we'll also bind. So on begin play, we will get the initiate pickup. We will bind the event to it. So now if you go and drag the initial pickup in here again, we have the call option to choose from. Now here we could say from the loot chest, once we spawn in the entire loot onto the ground, the animation finishes. Within the loot chest we can call the initial pickup, and that will trigger this event, and then here we will wait for the gameplay event to actor, and that's sort of like a safe switch we could do. We could also make a branch here, and we could call it something like let's see. So if the branch on the begin play is should be pickups run on, should pickups be interactable on begin play? Well, rather long name, but it makes a lot of sense. Should pickups be interactable on begin play, and then if we set it to false, shouldn't even be waiting for the message. So now when we have it to false, if we go into the level and then try to interact with one, okay, interesting. So what if we also go to collision? Here we have the pickup collision presets. I wonder if I could also change the collision profile, collision profile name. Let's call it no collision. No collision, and don't update overlaps. Okay, so we don't seem to be interacting with it, which is good. So now if we add it to, let's say, after the bind play, we set the collision, and then we check the branch, and then we put the collision preset into here. Let's check back on collision, scroll down, we just call it pickup. Up. Update overlaps. Pickups be interactive, we can play. Let's expose this boolean as well. So expose the details a bit more. We have it over here. Let's try it once more. Hold E while it's inactive. Nothing happens. Let's enable it. And that works. Okay. Good. The only issue I find... Oh, right. It's not even waiting for the gameplay event to happen. Right, so now you hold E. Goes through. Cool. These are placeable, so let's activate it. One. But you did hear there were like two sounds at the same time. One, two. So the 1 and 2 plays at the same time for some reason. Gameplay message, gameplay queue. Okay, I think, yes. Okay, I see what's going on. This is the one at fault. Let's just disconnect it. It was working fine. Okay, so let's just change the pickup and add a sub tag. Oh, we actually need to change it for both. So let's do gameplay first on actor. Add a sub tag. For loot chest, we have full open, half open. For pickup, we could maybe say interacted. So that's the interaction queue. Add that tag. Well, actually not selected. We'll add a new tag. So under the sub tag, and then we'll choose pickup. Death should be pretty accurate because we are indeed killing it. So let's pick the death for this gameplay queue. The actor. We're gonna use this for the VFX soon. Let's compile and save the pickup interaction GCN, the sound effects. Oh wait, pickup interaction. We can let's fix it up a bit. Manage gameplay tags, pickup interacted to rename. Then to GCN interaction rename. Okay, that's good. Compile and save. So now within the GA interact, we can say the pickup here is interaction for the gameplay queue. That's going to be the sound effects. Let's also comment. Choose sound. Let's name it spawn sound on spawn pickup interaction SFX, and let's color it black. Here we'll comment it spend gameplay and to pick up actor. it's black, and pick up sphere overlap. And let's call this pick up. Let's zoom in. Pick up interaction on pressed while pressed. Run pickup interaction logic. Bit bigger. Switch the color down here. Let's do the same for the while pressed interaction. This is the calculate. Press hold duration, or calculate hold time duration. Call this one. Copy this, sorry, I'll copy this name, and I'll copy that, paste it, pick up interactable widget trace, and let's make it black as well. And then here we can also just copy, comment, paste it in, and then let's just send gameplay event to loot chest actor. Black. Comment it as well, and let's call it on pressed while pressed run interaction run loot chest interaction logic. So interactable loot chest trace, and I think we can pretty much close out of GA interact. Like as I said before, you can also from the hit actor you can send a gameplay message to a component that might be attached to the character, and that could store how much pickups you have collected, and from there you can develop it further as you want. Okay, so let's comment also this part. Check or cast to player character. Make it black and has authority. Run interactable logic for, or run interaction logic for loot, chest, and ups. Okay, and let's put this a bit upwards. Comment all of them. So we're clearing it. We are sending gameplay event to actor released. So basically, at every single node, we're resetting it. So reset. I'll call it. Paste it. Reset. Interaction logic for loot chest and pickups. And ability afterwards. Okay. So this is the ability for now. Let's close out of GA Interact and go into the pickups. So as we know, by default, it won't be interactable unless we either call this within the loot chest or within the level by selecting a pickup and checking this box. So what we'll do, we'll go into the loot chest and now do the spawning functions. Oh, also before that, let's actually spawn the VFX for the pickup death. So GCN pickups, pickup interaction. Let's make a new GCN. So GCN. Now this one we don't need to access the actor GCN. We just need the regular GCN burst. So GCN pick up that, open it, and then in here with the particles, let's see what we can do here. In the content we have the effects, Niagara system, we have the death cubes here. I believe the unfortunate death cubes use a lot of skeletal mesh references, so I've gone ahead and disabled first two ones, and I've left the other two as is. So I'm wondering like how well it will look. So go into the death particles and call death cubes. Placement info. Attached to actor. Keep world. Let's see what we're sending within the pickups. We are sending the location, Instigator as self, and the gameplay queue, pickup VFX and SFX. Okay. The attachment rule, keep world attach policy attached to target. Pickups, we have the target attached component to the scene that we added some time ago. Now let's see if it triggers. I don't actually see it happening. Just gonna drag it into the scene. Okay, let's see what's wrong. Cards. Perhaps it's so small that we don't even see it. Oh no. Later. Death tag within the pickup death GCN. The gameplay queue tag. It works, but it's off by a lot. Guessing there has to be a location we can modify here. On the entry exit spawn position. Just reset the position to 0, and that should work. And try to increase the particles to maybe 40, 50. Yeah, I think be it for now. Awesome. We got that figured out. Now we can close the death cubes. We can close the GCN pickup deaths. We can close the GCN pickup interaction as well. We can let's see what more we have in the interaction. We have the disable VFX and play pickup sound, spawn that cube VFX. Okay, so let's drag the death a bit to the right and put the comment in here. So collapse. It's already collapsed. Comment a bit bigger, and let's recolor it. So disable VFX and play sound. We do not play the sound anymore. We do disable the pickup and spawn VFX via gameplay queue notify of death cube VFX, and then set pickup lifetime. We set the pickup lifespan delete these extra comments. We can go ahead and comment this one. Wait for gameplay event from GA interact. Basically the name of our ability that sends the information to the event. We can enable pickup collision. Before listen event, so before the wait gameplay event from GA interaction. Here we can say find event dispatcher. This one, disable pickup collision. And for this we can comment should be quick, be interactable when placed, when hand placed into the weld.